Welcome back to another episode of Talking Through. The Media is your home for entertainment news and reviews by fans for fans. I'm your host, Chris Fagan, and I'm trying to power through these technical difficulties. Joining me to do that on this journey here is Robert Reed.
Hello.
What's going on, man? How you doing, man?
Doing great, man.
Getting ready to get into some cool topics today and discuss a little bit about what we think about certain these things. But before we do that, guys, we're going to ask you guys, if you're watching us live, I hope you guys are out there watching us live. If you want to join the conversation, you want to support the channel, hit the like button, subscribe, share your thoughts on any of these topics that we're going to talk about. We're going to give a review. We just saw the Beetlejuice movie the other day, and we are going to give our conversation thoughts about that, and we're going to talk about the
spoilerless review.
A spoilerless reviews, non-spoilers. So, guys, if you do not want to be spoiled, this is the show to have that conversation with. If you do want to be spoiled, I'll put us, even though there's only two of us in there, the third box will be filled in later. If you do want to be spoiled, you can come back here tomorrow. It will be me and Tyler Cost. So, I'm sorry, you won't be here for the fun.
Won't be here for the spoiling part.
I'm saving that for After Dark with Tyler Cossey. I'm sure it's going to be, but today's going to be a pretty good day. Let's discuss some of these things that's happening out there in the world of entertainment news. I'm going to run down it real fast. And like I said, guys, if you want to join us in the conversation, comment in the box below. Let us know your thoughts. And I'm just glad that I figured out what the hell was going on with that microphone. So let's let you guys know, if you were like listening to us on the mic and going, what the hell? You sound like you're in a trash can that was kicked in the Grand Canyon or something like that. That's it was the mic. This mic wasn't on. It hasn't been on for like 2 weeks, and I think I was only using the mic from the camera. So I humble myself before you guys, and I beg your forgiveness. So with that all out the way, let's get into the first topic. I would normally, in this situation, I would throw it to my wife, but she'll be back in a little bit, maybe 10 minutes from now. Well, let's get into the first topic of the day, and that is news from Variety. Alison Brie from Community fame and from Glow, we were talking about that last week, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling Netflix series, joins Masters of the Universe. She will be playing the character Evil-Lyn, Skeletor's right-hand woman. To me, she's the man. She's awesome. I kind of like her just as much as Skeletor. Brie has been cast as the supervillain Evil-Lyn, starring opposite Nicholas Galintzine, if I'm saying that correctly, Central Hero He-Man, and Camelia Mendez as Teela, captain of the Royal Guard and at times the love interest for He-Man. What does it mean for Masters of the Universe that Alison Brie is joining the cast? I'm going to throw that question to you. What do you think about this casting here?
I think that is a pretty solid casting. The talent, they're dropping some young talent in there, some fresh faces that I like to see. Mm-hmm. I am super excited for this film. I think with the success that they experienced from the animated series, mm-hmm. that they will get a really receptive audience for this. So it is definitely the time for some of these new faces to shine, and I think it will definitely be some launching platforms for some of these young actors' future work.
I couldn't agree more. Now, full disclosure, I've never seen the animated series on Netflix, but when I heard that, I am a fan of the original movie though, Dolph Lundgren. Yes. And that movie to me was amazing. It wasn't the best, but it was for the 90s, for the late 80s and the 90s. It stood out. It was above like in a B movie. It wasn't a B movie in my opinion. It was above the standards. I wouldn't call it an A, but it was above a B. I wouldn't give it a B. I would give it an A minus. It was a B plus because the makeup. To me, they captured exactly what I was about to say Thundera from the Thundercats. What is the Castle Grayskull? What is that world called? I forgot what the world is called. But they captured the essence of that world. Now the plot might have been a little here and there. They had to find a way to come to Earth. Of course, a lot of movies, no matter what the movie is set in, they always have to find a way to face off with regular people from Earth. But so that was just a trope that's still to this day going on. But despite that, I thought it was a great movie. Skeletor, Evil-Lyn, played by Megan Foster, who also voiced Evil-Lyn in the Netflix version. So now that I know that, because I love the original so much, I'm going to watch the cartoon. I am definitely. Now, that was a long arc to get to Alison Brie. I know Alison Brie more for her comedy than anything else, like Community, and she was pretty funny in, even though it was a comedy drama in Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, the Netflix series. I have a feeling that she is not going to give us her comedic chops. I feel like she's going to bring it as far. I have a funny feeling that she's going to be menacing, very scary. She's going to give us another side of her that we've probably never seen before. I'm used to seeing her funny side. She's hilarious. And obviously she's attractive. She's a very a pretty person. But I think on top of that, with that, because Evil-Lyn is a very attractive. That's one of the things that's scary about Evil-Lyn. She's so damn gorgeous. And she's not to be tampered with. I think we're gonna get that version. I feel like we're gonna get a side of Alison Brie that we haven't seen before. So that's why I'm excited for this casting, because I love that character.
I hope so as well. They really in the series they really dived into some deep storyline and some more adult themed feel to some of the characters. Definitely not the childlike trope
that we got in the 80s.
Yeah, that you got in the 80s. You got much more of a real world, really conflicted characters that seemed a little bit more well planned out and more grounded. So I think that will be, if they continue that onto this movie, I think people will be very receptive. It worked really well for them in the cartoon. So
you think like going dark? You think like if it's more of a darker tone, you think that might work with?
Yeah, I think darker and just more adult based. That they can go above and beyond what you were expecting from a younger audience, and it will still resonate with the young group now, and it'll still resonate with the older generation that's going to like the movie. I think and that platform, done that way was successful and proven to be successful previously. So I think that would be a very smart path for them to take.
I just hope that they get the tone for because He-Man is a very it seems like from at face value you would think it's like it's medievalish and magic but it's very high tech and sci-fi. The way the world is set up, it's like a perfect blend of like magic. Sorcery and science. I just hope that they get that tone right, because I feel like people tend to go more one way than the other. But I just want that synergy, I guess is a good way to put it, of sorcery and science. I want to see that done right, because I feel like it's a hard thing to do in some cases, because I feel like maybe some people tend to lean one way or the other. But other than that,
there's definitely a lot of nuances to capture the feel, that nostalgic feel of that world and of that character that you may have grown up with, and to recreate that where it feels home. That does take a lot of small nuanced items to really make that, to sell that home. Agreed.
It was funny because we were talking about last time we were all here. We talked about Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, which my wife enjoyed. And speaking of which, there she is, back. So Alison Brie from the show that you like, from Glow, is, I don't know if you remember much of He-Man. I don't know if that was your genre, if you were a Thundercats or a G.I. Joe girl or Jim and the Holograms.
All of them except for G.I. Joe.
but the Evil-Lyn character.
It's been a long time,
so Alison Brie being cast as Evil-Lyn. Did you watch? What about the original movie from the 80s? You see that one, but yeah, that character who was played by Megan Foster, one of my, like I was saying before, she was one of my favorite characters. Any thoughts about Alison Brie?
I like her, so I would hope. I mean, she's a good actress, so I would hope she'd be able to do good on that.
My feeling is that I think besides the funny, because we know she can be funny, I think we're going to see, I feel like we're going to see a different side of her. I think it's going to be something that we've never, ever seen before. But guys, let us know what you guys think. Your thoughts on Alison Brie overall and the casting here for He-Man. What do you think? Evil-Lyn, do you see it? Do you think this was a good fit? Or, I mean, whatever your thoughts are, leave them below, and we'll, like I said, we'll keep talking about it. All right, let's move on to the next topic. This is something that I had geared towards more for our props master here. For this is something I came across on TikTok. A person that came up with this is an old. I didn't know that this was like 2 or 3 or 4 years old, but it was a man who came up with the most realistic Iron Man suit I've ever seen in my life. I would love to meet this guy at Comic Palooza someday. So, a gentleman by the name of Alex Burkar, an engineer and a YouTuber who created an Iron Man suit. I want to show again. I know you've seen it already, but I want to just kind of recap exactly what we saw. And I'll. I forgot to show this that picture of Megan Fox. But anyway, let's move on to the next topic. Here we go.
Behold, this is the closest thing to a movie-quality Iron Man suit in reality. The creator, named Alex, has been dubbed the real-life Tony Stark by countless netizens. To craft this suit, he dedicated nearly 6 years. Although he couldn't create an actual ARC reactor, he ingeniously substituted it with a hydrogen reactor. Now, okay,
let me stop it right there. A hydrogen reactor, because on the phone you commented about that. What is it about that hydrogen reactor that caught your attention?
The hydrogen technology has been around for some time, but it never got utilized, I think, to its full potential. Mm-hmm. There's some vehicles that are doing the hydrogen-based power plants, but to see it miniaturized and used in a small platform like this, you just generally don't see done. And the engineering involved in doing that is no light task by any means. So I'm super impressed with the way they got to pull this off. He's obviously a very, very skilled engineer, without a doubt. And, it's really awesome to see this. Like, growing up as a kid, we saw all these sci-fi things, and by now you think, oh, we would have flying cars. Everybody's like, oh, we should have flying cars.
I've been promising that since the 50s.
Yeah, as a kid, reading Iron Man comics, to think that some of these technologies exist now in my world makes me beyond ecstatic. Very happy to see it. And it's awesome to be in a world where the technology has reached that level that was previously only thought of as science fiction.
Yeah.
Like the fusion, this with him using the hydrogen and stuff for the power plant, super interesting to see it miniaturized. Some other areas that are really interesting for like flight, the electric motors now are the super small electric motors are nearly able to produce as much torque as some of the smaller jet engines. So to get that much thrust from an electric opportunity is really awesome.
Let's continue on real fast. Let's see if we can get to another point.
This is the only personal hydrogen reactor in the world. With the presence of hydrogen, he could utilize plasma jets and hydrogen combustion tests to create repulsors and cutters for the suit's arms.
That's the part that would be like the only risk, I guess, going into like comic. I'm like, because just like an Iron Man 2, I'm like, bro, something up, you get a bunch of people that just want to see something, get some explosions. Man, it could be very bad. It could be very cool, but it could be very bad.
A hydrogen power plant in general, is you're dealing with potential volatility there and explosives. So yeah. That's not for the faint of heart.
It was like, Ralphie, you'll shoot your eye out.
You'll blow your garage up.
Yeah. Little Timmy. Well, I was trying to make my hydrogen reactor, but I mean, is that the price of the pay for brilliance?
This part of the research took the longest time. Later, to control the suit's limbs through the reactor, he constructed an exoskeleton from aluminum steel, equipped with electromyography sensors. These sensors detect muscle movement, allowing control of the suit through pneumatic devices.
Now that was the part to me that was the most brilliant, because I didn't think about that. Those having having the sensors on your own muscles to react to those cables that'll coil up, and so it would assist him in movement or in lifting things or pushing or anything where muscle. Because at first I thought maybe that was what was needed to move the metal around, but not only that, but theoretically that means he could lift something heavier than he could normally. I wouldn't recommend him trying to pick a car up.
I mean, they've really been trying to use that technology in particular with paralyzed people to be able to let them walk again.
Yeah.
They've been trying to get that honed. They've managed to do it in like a bulk scale, but not enough where it's personalized where you're going to just see people using it. It's like still really big and bulky and
and I didn't think about that.
Not really feasible yet, but they've been working on that.
But it makes sense though to like for example, if there's a person whether they're I don't know if their muscles are weaker or if maybe there's a missing limb or something, but if you can get those sensors onto certain muscles, that makes total sense. I mean, how did it appear to you?
Another interesting fact, you see the parts in red is more or less the you would call that like the moving part, the mechanism. That technology has been around for a very long time, and it's now being utilized into this and to make like a synthetic muscle, essentially, is what that is. Yeah. You throw a current through it and it will contract. You release the current and it will expand. That technology I saw for the first time when I was very young, probably 6 or 7. I remember a show called Contact 321.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, on PBS.
Yeah.
Used to watch that stuff.
When that dropped, that they showed that on Contact 321. And next thing you know, it disappeared. You didn't hear a word about it
because they were afraid that we were advancing too fast. They wanted to put a patent on it, wanted to put a halt to it, or just like the hydrogen technology. Like, nope, can't. Oil and gas, big oil ain't gonna let that slide.
Close, the government bought the patent and they classified it. The U.S.
Gotta be a simpler way.
And then they set on it and tried to use it in certain technologies, and it sat around for, I don't know, 10, 12 years. And then they released it, and then you started seeing it's also the same material used in high-end sports cars in shocks and struts, because the material contracts whenever it gets a current and releases when the current starts. And it's been used in a lot of other technologies since. So super interesting tech to be, to see it utilized in this way.
Let's go on to the last part of it. I think that was a few more seconds left.
Powered by high-pressure hydrogen from the reactor. He achieved what Tony Stark did in the films, using a central core driver to control all parts of the suit. The creation of the suit is still underway, and it's believed that a complete version of the Iron Man armor will soon be a reality.
Will soon be a reality. I mean, can you imagine? I'm surprised, like you said, I'm surprised that the Army hasn't. I'm sure the Army's already looking at it, like looking at this guy, like we'll pay you $10 trillion to make this happen. Like, no, that's not enough. This is a $1 trillion a working model of the. I mean, it would be so hard to get it to a point where you could like for example, I mean, because Iron Man's able to do some crazy, amazing stuff. I'm like lifting up a car. There's no way technically you can be able to do that. Even a suit like that would still crush you. But to be able to pry open doors, things like that, burst through things, survive certain attacks and stuff like that. I know I'm trying to use the correct word so I don't get knocked off of social media, but that's something that military will be looking into. What do you think about that? Do you think that's the same situation could happen here?
I mean, absolutely. They have some technology already like that. The Army has some exoskeleton suits that are for. They use it for moving ordnance. Mm-hmm. That's real heavy. So, to assist people so they don't get fatigue or an injury. Yeah. So yeah, I believe it's probably a lot farther along than we like to admit.
We'll be getting that before the flying cars anytime soon. All right, guys, let us know what you guys think about this. Like I said, I came across this and I was like, I had to talk to the props guy, and see if what he thought about it, because I knew you would have some good facts to enjoy too. I mean, when I saw that it was connected to so many veins, I mean, she's anything with veins in the arms, she's just, I don't know, nurses just go crazy for that. Let us know what you guys think about that, the Iron Man suit. You think we can borrow that for Comic Palooza or Comic Con? I don't know. Let us know. Shout out to us here at T3 Medias, and we'll let's keep talking, guys. All right, moving on to the next topic. What is Joy? What's the third topic of the day?
From The Hollywood Reporter, mixed Joker Folie Deux reviews highlight lack of excitement and underused Lady Gaga in the sequel.
That was one of the things that was mentioned. The lack of enthusiasm for Joker. When I double checked the Rotten Tomato score, it was only like 43 reviews, but it was down to 60%. So we're gonna go over some of the things that were mentioned. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Some of the things that were discussed on this movie. We haven't seen it yet. I haven't gotten. We probably won't get past. If I haven't gotten past it for it now, probably not. Maybe the week before it comes out. Maybe not. But I am definitely interested in seeing this movie. I've always been ready to see it. From the Hollywood Reporter, as you were saying, here's what we have. Let's see if I can pull some of this stuff up. It says Joker Folie Deux was revealed to the public Wednesday as Todd Phillips' follow-up to his critically acclaimed critical and commercial smash hit film Joker premiered at the 2024 Venice Film Festival, and the first reviews have already been released. The Warner Brothers star Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck / Joker, a role that secured Phoenix a Best Actor's Oscar for his performance in the 2019 film. Joining the action for the sequel is Lady Gaga in the pivotal role Harley Quinn, the Joker's equally damaged companion in crime. Let's move down to the first couple of reviews. Let's see. The Hollywood Reporters, from the Hollywood Reporter. I don't want to. Well, I'm already reading it from the Hollywood Reporter. Let's start with. Here's something from Vultures. Vultures. Alison Wilmore feels that one of the main issues with the film is that Arthur just isn't interesting, despite how much effort Phoenix puts into rendering the character and exquisitely anguished mental and sunken chest physical detail. She also writes that even when Arthur thinks he's seizing control, he becomes a punching bag for the world, and more importantly for the director, who subjects the character to so many indignants that he actually stops being pitiable and starts resembling the punchline to a long, shaggy joke. What do you think about hearing things hearing criticisms like that? What does that say to you? I know you read some of the reviews. Are you worried about this based on how you felt about the last one? Are you worried about this upcoming movie?
I don't think so. I guess it's kind of a personal opinion. The story, the traumatic story of the guy may not necessarily be something that, it's hard to watch, but it's real. And people do like, to enjoy some of that real, real drama and real trauma to come through a character. So I'm not bothered by that. I'm really not.
Here's another headline here from from Venice Film Festival. Joker's Folie Deux review. Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga musical spirals out of tune. He only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. There's a great supporting cast and a brainstorming first act, but Todd Phillips' much hyped Gotham sequel proves claustrophobic and repetitive. I don't know what to take of that. I don't know what to take of it. I mean, I could read I'm trying not to go too deep into the reviews. Babe, we saw the movie together. Yes. Did you?
Unpopular opinion. It was not my. I mean, I didn't hate it. Mm-hmm. It's just not my kind of movie. So I was just very That's why you're. So this one doesn't really interest me at all. I'm
not interested in seeing Gaga and Joaquin's chemistry, but So over here on the cool section, in the cool table over here with us, I've always been excited about this. Now, am I a little worried? Kinda, because I'm hoping that this isn't just because it feels like it's gonna fuel the people who like the first movie and just hated the idea that it was gonna be a musical and hated the idea that Margot Robbie wasn't gonna somehow magically become in as Harley Quinn and the idea of Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn. But I feel like just like the first Joker, like I said, everybody always wants to bash the new thing. When Heath Ledger played Joker, he was like, no one else can play him after that. Then we got Joaquin Phoenix, and he got that Oscar, and everybody ate their words. And I'm hoping that this is going to be the same situation. But I'm also thinking that because it's a musical, because it's Lady Gaga, they're going to use that as the excuse to a lot of people not even giving it a chance, or maybe just maybe this just isn't as good as the original. I mean, am I making sense? What do you think? Do you think people are just repeating the same thing that they did before, not giving it a chance, and then when they see it, it's all of a sudden it's going to be like, we got to eat our words?
I think it's tough. It's about meeting expectations, and when you're making a film like this, that is your goal is to break expectations.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell where you're going to land. I think that by having it a musical portion is very groundbreaking and different, and especially in this tone of a film.
My prediction is that that's all in his mind, though. I like that when it breaks into musical, that's probably gonna all be all in his head mostly. That's not really happening in the real world. I'm sure she's gonna sing in real life, but I mean, if the prison guards start breaking out and dance, that's in his damn head, in my opinion. But that's just me. But
yeah, as far as breaking the stereotypes of the characters and stuff, I'm super glad that that they brought on her for Harley Quinn. I think that it's. I think she's definitely got the acting chops to do it, and she's got the God knows she's got the musical chops to be able to pull
exactly
off the singing portion.
Right. I'm curious.
I'm super excited about it.
It's always piqued my curiosity on it. I can't wait to check it out. So the question is, have the early reviews at the Rotten Tomato score where it's at right now? It will fluctuate. It could go up. It could go down. Has this? Let me know in the comments. Are you one of the ones that are excited about seeing the sequel to Joker, no matter what, or has this kind of like soured your feelings about it, or have you always been like, no, it didn't need a sequel. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Lady Gaga. All this madness. Are you gonna give it a chance no matter what? Let me know in the box, and we'll keep monitoring this as it progresses, I guess, until we see it ourselves. All right, moving on to the last topic. We're going to discuss. We can say it twice. We can't say it 3 times. But we saw Beetlejuice, and we had a great time. We wanted to give our thoughts on it. We got an early screening of it this week. We're gonna do a quick review of it, non-spoiler. So if you haven't seen it yet, we're not gonna spoil it. We will spoil Beetlejuice 2 tomorrow. Well, when we do the show with After Dark with Tyler Cossey. So today is the non-spoiler review of Beetlejuice. Let's talk about our overall impressions of it, babe. Let's start with you, babe. What did you think overall? What did you think about Beetlejuice?
I loved it. I had a good time. It was a blast. Funny. I mean, it's not. I mean, I know it's Halloween and it's the undead and whatever, but it's not really a horror type. It's not really a horror movie per se. Horror comedy, maybe. I don't know what you would call it, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Overall fun time.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Robert? When we saw Beetlejuice, were you excited from day go?
I was excited, and it delivered. So overall impression was great. Great film. Go see it.
I concur. That's like everybody said. I had a great time, and whether or not where it compares to the original, I'll save that for the end of the conversation. But I thought it was a
Michael
great
Keaton
installment.
fell right back in, like seamless.
I think we said that yesterday. I think we were like, it felt like this could have been written and done. It felt like it could have been like the very next year. Obviously, it's been 30 years, and with the characters have all grown up and had and Lydia had children of her own with Jenna Ortega's character. But it felt like it could have been a couple of years down the line, like this would have been filmed in the 90s. So yeah, let's talk about Tim Burton. Your overall impressions of the direction of this movie. How did you feel about?
Direction wise, I thought he nailed it. It had the same feel to me as the original, but fresh enough to where it didn't seem like you were just watching the same film over.
Right.
So yeah,
the
performances that he kind of teased out of the actors met seamless. There was no loss in the immersion. Yeah.
Here we go. The going back to the practical effects. I mean, the updated technology. You can see it here and there, but it still felt like, because in the original movie he purposely wanted to use that animation and make this feel like I forgot what genre it was, or the old school type, like puppet animation type of technology that even back in the 80s we were kind of past that, but we purposely made that look from that time, that old 1950s or 60s clay animation. He purposely wanted to do it, and he did it again. Like I said, it felt like it did not feel like this was an updated, overly CGI'd kind of thing. It still felt like the exact same town, the exact same the people, just a little bit older, and the exact same what was called the practical effects is what I was trying to say. Yeah, he did a great job.
You see it in the trailers, the room full of Bobs. Those are
yeah.
I mean, they do have different names on their name tag, but they're all.
Let's go into that. Let's go our performances. What was the performances for you, and how did you feel about who was the standout character? Was it?
I mean, Michael Keaton was. I mean, he was fabulous. He did a great job. He was hilarious. As much as obviously, I would think that I would have said that it was going to be Michael Keaton, but just like you just mentioned, without giving away any spoilers, for some weird reason, Bob was my favorite performance. I always love when you have unspoken characters that don't speak, but are still entertaining. They're funny. Yeah. You get emotion from them. Those are always. I enjoy that.
The way this, obviously because it's the puppet, the way it was emoting.
But you get lots of.
Yeah, I thought they did a brilliant job in executing that, and that lends itself to the direction again. But what about you? Who was the performance that stood out to you, Zork?
I'm going to agree with you, Bob. I thought Bob killed it.
Bob killed it.
Bob killed it.
All the Bobs.
The puppeteer and the work they did to get that the expression and the emotes out of that shrunken head character was super awesome, and he never said a word.
Just like in part one when that end credit scene when Beetlejuice was waiting for his time in the waiting room, and Bob he was just chatting him up like, hey, buddy, and then Bob just ignored him. like Bob has always been a character, so I was so glad that we got more from the B.O.B. Because he was my standout. My favorite character. Cinematography. Like, what did you think about the camera work or the overall aesthetics of the film? What did you think about that, Rob?
I thought the camera work and stuff was really well. Some of it there was a little bit of groundbreaking cinematography used in the first film, where some of the camera angles, and they were using some of the stop motion stuff and some of the way they were going through miniatures with the camera.
They did that. Yeah, they did that
and
again.
They used some of that same feel in this, but it was with the new technology and updated, but it retained some of that feel. So super excited about the way the cinematography came out.
I thought that like I said, the city, the small town feel, it's I swear it felt like, I wouldn't be surprised if they would have got those old school, if they would have told me that this was actually filmed on film. Obviously that would have been a waste of money. They couldn't do that. But it everything felt like it was shot the exact same way. The sets were amazing. I thought that everything looked good. What about you, baby? Any thoughts on cinematography or anything like that? Or
I mean, I thought they did great work keeping the feel of the same movie, even though it's updated, but not so updated that it doesn't feel like the original felt. Right.
I thought, and moving on to one of the next things. I didn't think about this much. The score, the music that was used, and I was like, how am I going to talk about? Because if I talk too much about music, then it'll kind of give something away, and I don't want to get into spoilers. But from the first movie, music, I believe throughout the movie, music was. I'll just say this: music, just like in part one, had a moment. There's a couple of moments where it was very pivotal, I guess, to the plot. I guess I don't know how to say it without. You can if you've seen the first one, you can kind of imagine where I'm going with it. But to pay even with the score, with paying homage to the original again, but the new sounds that were used. In this one as well, I thought it was great. What about you, Rob? Any without spoiling?
I completely agree. They definitely it retains some of that same feel to the score as the original. You get some of those moments of really good really good callback. It's like, yes, the song,
yeah,
and they did an excellent job.
Yeah,
and it built presence to the scenes, but it was not distracting. It didn't take away from the scene.
Yeah,
yeah.
Music wise, I know, babe, you were happy in a moment in the beginning of the movie. Well, this isn't a spoiler because it was in the trailer. During the funeral, I know certain music choices that were used. I know you were happy, and even during when during the funeral scene, because it's the grandfather or Lydia's dad, passing on. Even during that moment, I think you mentioned that you had fun with the funeral. That's a weird thing to say. We had fun with the funeral. The power of music. The tone. I think we kind of covered the tone.
Catherine O'Hara is such a nut.
Was that your standout performance?
The grandma.
Yeah.
I mean.
I forgot. And I keep calling her Lydia's mom. I forgot, and this movie reminded me that she was her stepmom. And I didn't realize that, and because I think of them as that being her mother, but I forgot that was her because she said that in part one. It's like she corrected the ghost, like stepmom, like no. So when they used that fact to their advantage. Again, I had a good time. But I can't talk about it right now. Okay, but come back tomorrow. We're gonna go deep into it. Let's see. Target audience. Who do you think this is for? Obviously, there's an answer to this, but overall, who do you think this movie is for? Who do you think this movie will target or get? Do you think it's gonna target a lot of people?
Mostly living people.
Mostly the living.
The dead audience maybe half and half, but pretty much most of the people that have a heartbeat are gonna really enjoy this film.
I mean, obviously, people our age who saw the original, you got nostalgia factor, and if you saw the original, you'll be able to catch the point things out that makes sense, the references, the callbacks.
Yeah.
But I still think people who haven't seen it will have a good time with it because it's funny enough that you can watch it without seeing the first, because I don't know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go back and watch the original. That younger people.
Usually it does happen sometimes.
Some do, but some may be like, I don't want to go back to 1988.
But I think that's also. I mean, I think the curiosity for some, but I think the popularity of Michael Keaton. He's come back again as Batman. That generated a lot of buzz. I think seeing him do it again with a different character. I think Michael Keaton has found some new fans with this new generation who might, out of loyalty of him or a little bit of curiosity, will go in and watch it and give that first one a try. I think this movie is going to do very well in the box office, and after seeing it, I hope it does. It deserves. Technical aspect. I think we kind of talked about this, mentioning notable special effects. I think that's your wheelhouse, man. What do you got? What special effects stood out to you?
They definitely did kick the practical effects up a notch on some of the, the representations of some of the dead people.
Yeah.
Were, some of them were campy, but man, some of them they really killed. That were, and you could tell by looking at it, that was done practical. That's not CGI. So yeah, I can't get into too much depth because they're going to spoil it. But yeah, the practical effects were on par with with what you would expect from this. Done very well, and very creepy, very creepy. So yeah, super great job. And then the cinematography we talked about was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, technical execution of the movie was stellar.
And on the list, comparables. I don't feel like it's fair to. I can't compare it to anything. I can't really compare it to much horror comedies that are out there. So I'll compare it back to the first one. The comparable, I think, is the first Beetlejuice, in my opinion. Burton crushed it again. I think his quote, because he was quoted on, will there be a third Beetlejuice movie? And he said, well, I'll be over 100 years old by the time I'm ready to do it. Like, I know, he's lying. If this movie does well, which I believe it will, I think Beetlejuice 3 will come out. When we heard that the second movie was going to be called Beetlejuice, everybody instantly understood what was happening in real time. That means there's going to be 3 movies, and you got to call it Beetlejuice. It's got to. Even if this flops, it just has to happen just because of the title alone.
I think it's going to do well. Though.
I think it's going to do amazing. Comparables.
Predictions are looking pretty good.
I think that comparing. I think that it's. In comparison to the original, I think that it held up. I think it's worthy of the franchise. The thing that I appreciated about this movie is because Beetlejuice himself was such a mystery. I was happy that they did more with it, because you see this in the trailer that we're not just stuck with. Let's just say it like this: we're not just stuck with the same ghost. Like we talk about Bob, for example. We're not just dealing with the what was the name? Now I keep saying the Deets. Obviously the Deets. We're not just dealing with like the 2 ghosts that were in the house and then trying to get somebody out of their house. We're not just dealing with that type of a plot. In this movie, I felt like the what was it? Alec Baldwin and
Gina
Davis' character. I think that that void was filled with Winona Ryder and her stepmom. I think they were playing that role. They were the ones with the dilemma. Obviously, they needed Beetlejuice's assistance, and we saw that in the trailer. So that's not a spoiler. You saw, obviously, there was a plot that was the reason why they needed to bring him out. So I felt like in comparison to the first one, they kept it in that same vein. There's an unfortunate situation where we feel like we have no choice but to call on this a-hole to help us out, and they executed it well, just like they did on the first one. Recommendation conclude with whether or not you would recommend this movie. Would you? Was it 10 out of 10? Must recommend? What do you think? Where you rated, babe? You've been telling your friends about it, right?
Oh yeah, I think everybody should go see it. I give it at least a 9.
9 out of 10.
I'll watch it again.
9 out of 10. I will watch it again. What about you, Rob? What do you recommend? Do you recommend this film?
Absolutely. Definitely recommend it. And yeah, I'm going to go with a 9 as well.
9 out of 10. Must recommend. Let's go across the board. I'm right there with you guys. 9 out of 10. I highly recommend this movie. Go out and go check it out. I believe maybe it might be coming out tonight, but obviously Friday is the actual release date. Go check out Beetlejuice. All the performers. Jenna Ortega did a great job. The antagonists, I'll put it like that, were amazing.
Yeah, we got a couple of cameos in this movie that I've not seen anyone talking about.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's going to be some jaws dropping when they catch some cameos.
Oh yeah, so go check it out, Beetlejuice. Yeah, we can't say much more without getting into it, but tomorrow we will get into more spoilers on it. Before we move on and get out of here for the night, anything from anybody out there in the world? Any comments on any of
Kevin, gave his opinion on he thinks Beetlejuice will just be moderate.
Beetlejuice will be moderate successful. It also goes on to say Joker 2 will be moderate. That's the word of the night. Moderate. Successful. Warner Brothers is not going to reach the heights of the first film of the box office. And Bo DeMaio, I think that was a subject from a couple of weeks ago. But that's not on topic of what we're talking about tonight. But yeah, I think
Beetlejuice is going to be a big. I'm not saying it's going to, be Deadpool level, but I think it's gonna do really well. I don't. Beetlejuice
will make $1 billion at the box office.
Technically, are we talking about 2 separate musicals?
What do you mean? Like Joker? Are you talking about Joker?
Yeah, Joker and Beetlejuice.
Oh, dude. Would I consider Beetlejuice a musical? There is a musical. There's a musical for Beetlejuice. I wouldn't consider this a musical.
I would need to see how much music is in Joker. Is it like the whole movie, or is it just few inserts?
Yeah, that's a good question though. That's 2 musicals where I think Beetlejuice will ease us into this to the next musical, which is Joker. Yeah. I saw a picture of Beetlejuice sitting on that couch in that waiting room with Heath Ledger's Joker, just trying to ignore him. He was just leaning in because their makeup is so similar with the green and the white face. That was kind of funny. Like he was that scene where Heath Ledger was sitting in the jail cell with his hands on his lap, just looking at Jim Gordon, and Beetlejuice was leaning in on his ear, just talking his ear off. I guess it was. I gotta find that meme again. That was pretty funny. But guys, go check it out. We recommended here from this channel. We said that it was a very, very worthy successor to the original, and I can't wait to see it again. I wouldn't mind going to the movies again and seeing it. So go back to back, go watch it again. And again and again and again, and have a good time. I think everybody did a great job, and I can't wait to talk spoilers with you tomorrow. Okay, that is going to do it for this episode of Talking Through the Medias. Thank you guys for joining us once again on a Thursday. Come back tomorrow when we go After Dark with Tyler Kazi to talk spoilers on Beetlejuice and other things as well in the horror genre.
For me,
I just felt like pressing that button. Thank you. Thanks for joining us again on a Thursday. Robert, people want to find you. Where can they do so?
You can find me in socials at RXR Props.
And Joy, people want to find you online. Where can they?
My TikTok is Viola Fagan, and my Instagram is Scrub Hats and More by Joy.
And as always, guys, just on T3 Media Studios or at Chris W. Fagan, you can always holler at me and let me know what you guys want to talk about. Until next time, guys, have a happy peace. Thank you guys for watching our video. I really do appreciate it. Remember, you can support our show by becoming a member or a Patreon. So click the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you'll never miss out on when we go live or post new content. Let's stay connected, grow this community together. Like, subscribe, comment, and let's keep talking.